Welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing a bit more painting. I'm going to try and paint this bit. As you can see, I've masked off some of the areas that are going to get white overspray on if I'm not careful, and the wind seems to be picking up, but I'll probably be able to stick it down a bit more and then we'll be good to go. I've now prepped everything, so I've put white spirit on everything and wiped it all clean. There's no oil on there. There's no loose fragments anywhere. This is what the battery box now looks like. It's going to look amazing when it's painted. I'm going to have to refabricate a new one at some point because it's rusted through in several areas, all the way through, on like the sides and stuff. So that'll all be done in the future. But until then, let's get this rust covered up. This looks like the original colour as well. It's a shame, but it's going to be white now, which is going to look even better. This is the first coat complete. It's going to be patchy in that because it's just a tack coat really, and I need to build up the layers and make sure that there's no runs or any drips or anything, and it will come up lovely that way, very shiny. And like I say, I'm going to paint the battery tray by hand. I'm not going to use aerosol. I might use aerosol on top of it, but not initially. But yeah, you can see it looks fantastic. The finish is amazing, and it'll cover all the rust in that, as it is only surface rust, so it will just etch to it and it will stop it in its tracks. This is the second slightly thicker coat. I'm going to do a third one because if you look closer you can see that some of the areas are still not fully covered yet, and it's still patchy in some areas. I've still got some of the detailed areas to go over a bit more, and it will look pretty nice, I should imagine. I'll do a more detailed look when I've completed it. This is the battery tray after it's been painted now, with one coat of hammerite. I've even done the top edge of the frame here, done it all with just paint. I might do it with aerosol over the top. I don't know if that will actually make any difference, but this will definitely help preserve it until I can actually get a newly fabricated one. I'm going to go over this area now, again with another aerosol, and just tidy it up. So it's the next day and everything is dried. Applied a few coats to everything. It looks really good, I think. This is so much better, like all colour coded in my opinion, instead of like just a rotten mess like it was before. Obviously you can see the rust holes and all that. That's all going to have to get sorted at another time. It's all nice around here. Now today I think I'm going to be focusing on the inside bit here. So this is a real pain. I'm going to have to figure out what I can do here. I've masked off what I can, but further along it's like right against the frame, so I'm going to have to try and release it from the frame and then paint behind it. Same with some of the cabling on this side. All the frame's done down here. All nice. All in here is done. This might benefit from a bit more actually. Other than that, that's pretty finished now, and then I'm going to be working on all the black areas inside and painting these beams that go across here as well. I've sprayed a lot of WD-40 on these over the past few days, so these should just release off quite easily. And there you go. So that'll undo like so, and then that will come off, and these should come away from here, and then I can clean this up properly. That one's a lot stiffer, but it's still coming off. That's fantastic. Now if I obviously do that to these ones as well, this whole rail should come away and I can paint all this nice and thick paint and it won't rust. I've spent probably the last hour and a half cleaning all this up, taking it off, masking every single part. Done all this side as well. This side doesn't look as good, there's a lot more surface rust on here. But I've also decided that these are going to be white. I'm going to find some bump stops because they're missing. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be rubber bump stops underneath there. All the way along here has been done. It's all clean. A bit harder to see here, but like in here I need to try and get that. These basically need to come off, and I'm going to have to put some new brackets on to hold all the wire in, I think. These are also going to be white as well now, instead of black. I'm going to do the struts in black and the springs in silver until I replace them. This was a lot harder to clean. Like now I've managed to loosen it all so everything can move sort of freely, so I'll be able to paint behind it now. It's all masked off nicely as well. I'm going to have to remove these things down here and paint behind there later on. But first, let's get this bit done. Well, this is the progress so far. Painted to around here. It's looking pretty good. You can see how bright the frame is. It's going to need another coat though, because it looks a little bit rough. In my eyes, it looks a bit rough. Just stopped for a lunch break and I'm about to continue again. This is where we've got up to now. I've painted in behind here all the way along except that little corner there. Got to do that. And I've started painting these rails, getting in all of these intricate areas here. You can see the difference here, the old and the new paint. Same here. And I've still got like in here to do. And then we'll be moving on to the black areas. I've currently installed some axle stands here and here so that I can lie down underneath and I can actually do the underside of these rails properly, and also then I can do the underside of the frame. That will also enable me to clean this all up properly and then begin painting it. This is why I needed to get underneath. As you can see, the oil that's still all underneath here, I need to actually remove it all before I paint. And some of it was still on here. There's another bit I've removed. It takes quite a while, this process, and then you've got to paint it all. And like these areas where I've missed bits, look, I still have to paint all that. And there's areas underneath here as well. There's little bits I've missed. And underneath, the frame underneath here, and all this as well. All has to be painted yet. This is the result so far. I've been finding it extremely difficult painting inside here. I need to drop the fuel tank out. It's the only way to really get every detail. So that's something I'll probably do eventually. In here is all done as well. Actually, there's a little bit there that needs a bit more paint, just there. I've covered everything with a good thick layer, so all underneath these as well. Underneath the frame's done. Battery box, all of the head there. So you can see, it's a nice thick coat. It's literally taken days to do this with a paintbrush. It would have been quicker probably if I had dismantled the whole truck, but I don't know how to put it back together again. That's why I haven't done that. So yeah, that's That's all this side. It's the back. I've actually got to paint this as well. All down this side as well. Painted these white. All underneath's done. It's quite a big job actually. It doesn't look big and then it gets bigger and bigger. If you want to do every detail, it's always a lot more work than you first think. The white areas are all finished now. As you can see, I've done all underneath now of everything. Done all the way along in the hard bits to reach, all under here. I've even gone underneath these areas on both sides best I can. Gone in there. Again, I can't actually go all the way in. I have to take the engine out and do all this bit to get in there. And over here as well, I'll have to like remove all of this to actually get in there, you know, one day, but not now. I've done what I can do, you know, based on not removing everything, and I think it's come out pretty good, to be honest. That's all the white areas, like I said. Next is the black areas. And all the black areas will really make it pop next, so doing like fuel tank. This ledge on the back here is going to be black. I'm going to paint this as well. It's going to look really good. These are going to get painted black. The springs are going to be silver. Get some new exhaust mounts as well. I can't paint the exhaust, it'll burn off. I could use high temperature paint, but I'll consider it, but I might get it changed instead. It's probably a better option. So like here needs to be painted a little bit, although there's a lot of grease on there. It's probably better paint here as well, and the mounting plate that's on, stuff like that, and it'll really stand out. It'll look really nice. And then I'll probably try and do some painting of the engine itself, although it would be better if it was out to do that and apart, of course. But the very final thing will be to take off the wheel trims and actually paint the actual wheels. So I'll take the wheels off and then paint them properly, you know, clean them up, paint them both sides, and then reinstall them. We've started adding some black to some areas. The drive shaft here is now being painted. The shocks have been painted black as well. There we go. Next is the fuel tank and the diff here. That all needs to be painted. I've actually been sanding it down, as you can see. So it's got a much better finish, ready to be, you know, to have the paint applied to it. Same with the fuel tank, because a lot of it's just surface rust on here, so it will it'll come up nice when it's done, I should imagine. I've removed the back wheels so that I can get better access into these hubs here, because I want to paint them all. I need to rub them down a bit as well with a wire brush. You can see there. Just paint and protect the hubs themselves like the best I can, really. They look horrible. I wish there was more that I could do with them, but they will be covered up by the wheels themselves, which are all going to get painted up and made nice both sides. One day I'll change all the suspension as well, but until then it's just going to get tarted up. I have black hammerited the wheel hub and the suspension, as you can see. It looks so much better like this. Now I've got the spring to do and the tank, and I've done half of the differential, as you can see. you can see the difference. It's like it just changes it altogether. I've still got like the back of it to do and the underneath and all that, but you can really see the difference. It's gonna transform this completely. So I've even done the back of the hub there. That was quite a job getting in there. It was very difficult. And as you can see, that's what it looked like before. Look how horrible that is in comparison to that. Totally transformed. There we are. The black and white really sets it off now. I really like all this, like it's just lovely and shiny, and all the rust's gone. It's not completely finished yet. Still got these areas to do. A bit more intricate, it's going to take a bit more time. I've actually run out of time, so I've got that to do as well. Just in there, little bits here as well. Then I've got these to finish off, the underside, the tank. And then I should be just about done, and then it's time for reassembly. Since the last clip, I actually finished the black hub here, because that wasn't finished, and I did the underside of the tank, the underside of here, and all of it basically is finished. The only thing I haven't done is the springs. They're the only bits. I've even finished on top of the tank and stuff. But this has been a month that it's actually been wrapped up in here. I've changed the wheels, but they have to come off and get refinished. This was even touched up some more, so now it's nice and thick paint, and I've sourced some glass to go in there. So as you can see, I touched this up pretty good, and it's actually just getting a bit of dirt on it, because it's been, like I say, it's been 4 weeks since I actually filmed anything, and we're seeing how well the paint's actually holding up. You can probably see, but some of the rust is beginning to come through again, like many of you said it would, and there's not really that much I can do about it right now. I don't know how to fix that with the way I have things. Still got the exhaust to do, and as you can see, the spaghetti junction of wiring, that's the thing that I'm tackling next before I do any more painting or anything. I need to get the wiring sorted, so then I can, you know, get the lights on, I can get it running again, because when I started it last time, I actually fused all the electrics because there was no proper grounding, of course, and I forgot all about that. So then once I've done that, then I'm going to be trying to put this into a garage, and then I can do some more painting and little bits and pieces and start tightening things up and do the electrics properly then. So amazingly, I hit 1,000 subscribers, which I can't believe, and I can't thank you all enough. I hope that I get a lot more, and I'm glad that you're all enjoying the content that I'm making on this thing, because it might seem like I know what I'm doing, but this is my first project. I've never done anything like this before, so I'm learning as I go along, and you know, it's fantastic that you guys are actually giving me some feedback, that you're commenting, you're letting me know better ways of doing things, because without your knowledge I wouldn't have a clue necessarily what I'm doing. So I'm watching other YouTubers and just basically learning from them as I go along. Now I've still got a mountain of work to do on this thing, and I've got content that's probably going to last years, I can imagine. I'm going to try and get this thing in a running state and get the back on the Roma home, work on that. There's going to be videos coming on that as well, such as putting in the windows. That's a big project, that one. And then I'm going to be able to actually use it and go away and camp in it and go away for day trips and stuff, and then gradually over time build it better and build it into how I would like it to be. There's so many things to do, it's just unbelievable. But now I have a garage somewhere where I can actually put it in and store it, and I can do little bits and work on it. It's a little bit easier instead of having it outside, because for the last month the weather's been pretty bad, to be honest, and I had a really amazing spell of weather, and that's how I got all this done. And like I say, it's been sat for a month now, not doing anything. So we need to change that. I need to make more content. People are clearly enjoying it, so if you haven't already subscribed, make sure that you do. And like I say, I'm absolutely overwhelmed with the amount of feedback, the amount of subscribers, all of you that are just joining me on this journey. So I look forward to seeing you all in the next one, and thank you so much for watching. Cheers.